All week, WCCO is investigating Minnesota's state of emergency.
Tonight, we're taking a deeper look at our cyber defenses. Last year, lawmakers added $32 million to keep us safe from cyber attacks. Our Jonah Kaplan looks at how that money is being spent and what's at risk.
Has this hospital been under attack?
Multiple times. We're probably under attack right now. It's something that we're routinely prepared for.
Jan Krivchenko is the Director of Core Technology and Information Security at Hennepin Healthcare. His team has more than doubled in the last 4 years, and for good reason. First, there's this University of Minnesota report revealing a staggering rise in cyber attacks against hospitals. Then there's this warning from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security about imminent cyber threats to healthcare facilities across the country. A cyber attack here could be much more than just stealing personal data.
We have over 50,000 computers, devices that are making this operation possible.
50,000?
50,000, correct. They could be anything from a large-scale computer to an infusion pump that decides how much fluid goes into you. And most of these devices have to talk to someone or one another. Most of them are critical to providing care. I mean, some of them are nice to haves, but a lot of them are absolutely critical. So at some point, the difficult job of doing what my team does is continuously reevaluating what is it that we have, which vulnerabilities we can live with, which vulnerabilities we have to fix.
Healthcare is just one of many categories of critical infrastructure that are increasingly vulnerable to cyber attacks. Think transportation, communications, finance, and energy. They're massively important and massive targets. Just look at these scenes from a few years ago.
The company shut down its pipeline Friday after a cyber attack compromised its IT system.
Russian hackers shutting down the Colonial Pipeline, which supplies more than half the amount of gasoline to the East Coast. We know there's a war going on in the Middle East. We know Iran is involved a lot. We know about Russia. How big a threat to us comes from these state actors?
I think we're under constant kind of cyber threat.
Minnesota's Department of Information and Technology, or MINIT, secures data and information for nearly 6 million Minnesotans. Officials there also recently rolled out what they call the whole-of-state approach, the first statewide cybersecurity defense plan. Chief Security Officer John Israel says being prepared for an emergency needs 2 stages of readiness, one online and the other on the ground.
In response to a flood, for example, there's really not a lot we can do to remove the water. It's really about what can we do to support the people and the businesses to reopen and protect society. Same thing in a cyber attack.
MINIT participates in at least 2 yearly preparedness exercises, one on the state level, the other with federal partners, called Operation Cyberstorm.
We brought in people from the transportation sector, from the energy sector, water utilities, metropolitan airports, and others to look at what would we do in the event of a large-scale cyber event.
Still, the message from MINIT is that everyone plays a part in cyber defense. And that's a theme repeated again and again by Jan Krivchenko to his colleagues at Hennepin Healthcare. We can't do this alone.
In security, we have a saying that, the biggest security vulnerability is somewhere between the keyboard and the chair.
In Minneapolis, Jonah Kaplan, WCCO News.
Here are some tips to improve your cyber defenses. Use strong passwords and don't use the same one on other accounts. Avoid phishing scams by only opening emails from people you know. Enable multi-factor authentication for access to apps and logins. And finally, remember to log off any public computer or network.